All right, let's dive right into that lead story because it's a fascinating peek into how genetics can sometimes sidestep the usual suspects in disease. According to Science Daily, researchers at the Mayo Clinic pinpointed this mutation in the MET gene in a father and daughter who developed fatty liver disease despite having none of the typical risk factors like obesity, heavy drinking, or metabolic issues. What makes this mutation stand out is how it disrupts the liver's ability to process fats, leading straight to inflammation and even the potential for cirrhosis down the line. It's not just a rare oddity. The team suggests that similar genetic variants might be at play in broader populations, which could explain cases that puzzle doctors today. This discovery opens up exciting possibilities for targeted genetic screening, where we could catch these risks early and develop therapies that specifically fix the fat processing pathways in the liver. For folks without obvious lifestyle red flags, this could mean personalized prevention strategies that prevent the slide into serious liver damage, potentially helping millions avoid complications like cirrhosis. The Planetterrian spotlight shines here because it's a reminder of how rare mutations like this could reshape our approach to a condition that's increasingly common. Researchers are already sifting through larger data sets for more variants, and I'm keeping an eye on what clinical trials might emerge from this. It's one of those findings that builds on our growing understanding of metabolic diseases, showing us that sometimes the answers are hidden in our DNA. Shifting gears to something that's got real promise for regenerative medicine, a Swedish team has engineered a new scaffold for bone regrowth, as reported in Science Daily. This isn't your typical implant, it's a cell-free structure made from cartilage that keeps all the natural architecture and growth signals intact, essentially guiding the body's own repair processes in damaged bone areas. In animal studies, it worked beautifully, promoting regeneration without triggering any immune rejections, which is a big hurdle in this field. What I find intriguing is how this builds on what we know about the body's healing mechanisms. It's like providing a blueprint that lets native cells do the heavy lifting, potentially speeding up recovery from fractures or defects. Clinically, this could be a game changer for orthopedic surgeries, especially in cases where traditional grafts fall short. And with human trials on the horizon, we're looking at scaling this up for real-world use. It's an incremental step forward, sure, but one that adds meaningfully to the toolkit for tissue engineering, reminding us how mimicking nature often yields the best results. Now, on a different note, let's talk about a protein discovery that could help prevent blindness in people with diabetes. Another gem from Science Daily. The team zeroed in on LRG1, a protein that tightens up blood vessels in the retina during diabetic retinopathy, starving the tissue of oxygen and kicking off damage long before symptoms show. By blocking this protein in mouse models, they stop the disease's progression in its tracks, which suggests we might intervene early to save vision. This matters because diabetic retinopathy is a leading cause of blindness, and current treatments often come too late. Focusing on LRG1 shifts the angle to prevention, targeting the vascular changes at their root. It's thoughtful work that highlights the cascade of events in metabolic diseases, and while it's early days, it points toward therapies that could be game changers for millions managing diabetes. I'm genuinely interested to see how this translates to human studies. Could we have drugs that nip this in the bud? Taking a step back in time, ancient sheep DNA is giving us fresh insights into the early days of the plague, courtesy of Science Daily. Scientists pulled Yersinia pestis from a 4,000-year-old sheep skeleton from the Bronze Age, marking the first evidence of this bacterium in a non-human host before the Black Death era. Interestingly, this strain lacked the genes for flea transmission, so it likely spread through direct contact or other means, which helps explain its wide reach across Eurasia back then. From a historical science perspective, this adds a layer to our understanding of how pathogens evolved and moved through populations, especially in pastoral societies. It's not revolutionary, but it fills in gaps about ancient disease dynamics, and I appreciate how it connects animal health to human epidemics, something that still resonates today with zoonotic threats. Here's one that's a bit more geophysical. Researchers have linked Antarctica's mysterious gravity hole to deep Earth movements, as detailed in Science Daily. By analyzing earthquake data, they reconstructed slow rock flows over millions of years that created this zone of weaker gravity, with the peak activity happening between 50 and 30 million years ago. This isn't just trivia, it enhances our models of Earth's interior, showing how mantle convection influences surface features like ice sheets and sea levels. What stands out to me is the long-term perspective. It reminds us that planetary processes are ongoing, and understanding them could refine climate predictions or even resource exploration. It's solid, evidence-based work that incrementally advances geophysics without overhyping the drama. Moving to neurodevelopmental disorders, there's promising news on boosting a brain protein for Rett syndrome from Science Daily. The approach involves ramping up a faulty protein in models of the disorder, which restored normal function in both mouse brains and cells from human patients. Rett syndrome affects thousands of children, causing severe cognitive and motor issues, so this could pave the way for therapies that address the root genetic problem. Clinically, it's about safety next. Further studies will check for side effects, but it's a thoughtful step toward treating rare conditions that have few options. I like how this ties into broader gene therapy trends. It's incremental progress, but for families dealing with Rett, it offers real hope grounded in mechanism-driven science. On the conservation front, koala DNA is showing signs of rebounding after population crashes, according to Science Daily. Genomic scans revealed that as koala numbers climb, their DNA is recombining in ways that restore lost genetic diversity, which is crucial for long-term survival. This is encouraging because it suggests endangered species can recover evolutionary potential fairly quickly if we give them the chance, especially after bottlenecks from habitat loss or disease. From a biodiversity angle, it adds to what we know about resilience in wildlife, and it's a reminder that conservation efforts can pay off in unexpected genetic ways. Not every recovery story is this optimistic, but this one's a quiet win for ecology. Circling back to liver health, cannabis compounds like CBD and CBG are showing potential against fatty liver, as per Science Daily from yesterday. In models, these boosted liver energy use, improved cellular cleanup, stabilized blood sugar, and cut down harmful lipids, all key factors in metabolic liver issues. It's intriguing because it points to plant-based options for a growing problem, and with human trials likely next, we might see natural supplements entering the mix. This builds on cannabis research without sensationalizing. It's about evidence for targeted benefits, especially for those seeking alternatives to traditional meds. And finally, before we wrap, there's emerging evidence that gut inflammation might drive Alzheimer's risk, reported in New Scientist. The idea is that ongoing inflammation from sources like the gut, lungs, or skin could contribute to the disease, with simple lifestyle tweaks, think diet or even vaccines, helping to dial it down. This shifts the focus to prevention through everyday measures, potentially delaying onset for many. It's a reflective piece that connects systemic health to brain aging, and while it's not definitive, it encourages us to think holistically about neurodegeneration. Before we go, next time we'll be watching for updates on those human trials for the bone regrowth scaffold, as they could signal big advances in regenerative therapies. That's Planetterrian Daily for today. If you enjoyed this episode, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.